Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Pieces. Alright, so it's the summertime. For some reason, during the summer I really feel the need to watch a lot of slasher movies. I just get that feeling like, okay, it's the summertime, I want to watch a lot of slasher movies. Um, I know this is not like a summertime themed slasher, but something about the summertime just makes me want to watch slasher movies. I don't know why. So I thought I would rewatch Pieces, and let me tell you what, this movie is stillthebomb.com. The first time I saw it, I actually just like found it. I knew about it though. Like I would watch videos on it. I used to watch Drum Dums a lot. Shouts out to Drum Dums. And he would, do all kinds of like horror reviews and slasher reviews. And he did a review for this, and I was like, I gotta see that movie. I gotta see that movie. And like it was like a couple years ago when I found it, and at that point I didn't even like. Now I pretty much just watch everything on Tubi because they have like every single horror movie ever. Like not literally, but they have like a pretty good selection of a lot of you know iconic 80s horror movies. I mean, I still collect stuff, but like back a couple years ago, I was collecting movies like crazy. Like it just seemed like every other day, like during the summer, there'd be a garage sale where I picked up the original Dawn of the Dead at a garage sale. I picked up like all these like awesome movies that I always wanted to see just like at garage sales. So that was the story with Pieces. I was like on a walk or something, and then I saw this garage sale, and it was literally a block away from my house. And I just, I thought, let me just check it out. And they had like a fat amount of movies. Like they had stacks of DVDs. And it was just like a lot of the DVDs were just like some BS or some stuff that like I already had or I wasn't really interested in. But then I saw Pieces. I'm like, what? And then also I got it was like one DVD, but it was Waxwork 1 and 2, like a 2 DVD set in one case. And at that point I knew about Waxwork, but I had never seen that either. And like that was like an awesome find. It's always fun to like find stuff just in the wild. Like if you're at, Salvation Army, if you're at like a thrift store or you're at a garage sale or whatever, like it was so fun. Like I think I got both of them for like $1, maybe like $1 each. Like it was just fun. Like these were movies that I wanted to see for the longest time, and I just found them like right like across the street from me. Um, Not across the street. It was like a street. It was like the next street, but whatever. Same difference. Whatever. But yeah, like that's always super fun. So that was super fun for me finding it. Um, and upon rewatch, this movie's still the bomb. Something that I wanna like that I really want to talk about in regards to this movie, and like something I really appreciate about it is that it's like there's so many memorable moments. This is just a memorable movie, and that's what I think is a problem with a lot of you know horror movies that aren't a part of a big franchise. Like of all the big franchise films are memorable and people know about them, but like a lot of other like 80s slasher movies don't get talked about. And I'll watch, there's like a lot of like unsung 80s slasher movies that I'm like, this needs to be talked about. Like The Mutilator. That's like a really good slasher movie that I feel like people nowadays like don't talk about that much. It's not like if you just went to like 5 people on the street, like maybe one of them would know about that movie. Like people don't really know about that. And this is the type of movie where I feel like everyone doesn't know about this movie, but I feel like it deserves, you know, recognition because it is memorable. Like a lot, like I said, a lot of 80s slasher movies that aren't a part of big franchises that I've seen, they're just boring and forgettable. Like it's just like run of the mill. Like I'm not trying to pick on this movie because it's like it's not terrible, but the last time I saw it, I was just like, that's kind of like bland, like Sorority House Massacre, like stuff like that. Like it's just like it's just bland, it's boring, it's just like going through the motions of being a slasher movie. It's like copying off every other thing. Like there's nothing that it does that's like cool or interesting. Maybe if I do a review for that in the future, like my mind will change and I'll actually like it more. Like I don't hate that movie, but that's something that I want to talk about. Like this movie is so memorable. Like, you know, I think the premise is super unique. Like you have like the whole setup in the beginning and the whole thing where the guy is trying to get these you know, body parts and you don't know what they're being used for, and the whole puzzle piece element is really cool. I like the whodunit elements, like the whole mystery aspect. Like the first time I watched this, I couldn't pick out who the killer was. I thought it was done pretty well. Like you had like a lot of red herrings going on. It was all good. The kills were fantastic in this movie. You had so many funny WTF moments. Like some of it was intentionally funny, some of it was just like unintentionally funny, cheesy stuff, which is something that's so awesome about a lot of 80s slasher movies. Like a lot of people will like hate on that era of movies and say like, oh, they're cheesy, but like that's something that made like that's what's awesome about them. Like I feel like movies don't have that like cheese factor nowadays. Like they might like try to be cheesy, but they're like you can't really like try to be cheesy. Like the unintentionally funny moments are like some of the like that's I don't know, like I feel like that's almost like a part of the slasher genre. Like that's part of the reason why I love these movies. Like I come for, you know, the kills. I come for, you know, sometimes if there's like a good mystery, a good whodunit element, and like I come for those funny, cheesy moments. Like that's what's fun. You're drinking a couple beers, you want to see some good kills, you want to see some funny, outlandish, stupid stuff. Like I love that stuff. Like I feel like newer horror movies they don't really have that, and if they do have comedy, it's like try hard or forced. I'm not saying all like some new movies do the horror comedy stuff well, but like the 80s movies just do it so like seamlessly. Like it's just you can't manufacture it. Like it's just got to be it's just so like natural, like with the unintentional humor, you know. Um and now jumping on to the you know, all the funny moments, all the WTF moments. There's so many. I want to go over all of them. I mean, I feel like people have probably talked about these in every single review for this movie. I'm not, you know, I'm not doing anything groundbreaking with this review, but I like this movie. I want to jump on here and talk about it. So of course I got to talk about this stuff. I mean, that's like some of the main stuff that makes this movie so memorable. So, first things first, the scene where the girl's like, there's nothing like uh, smoking pot while having sex on a waterbed at the same time. I mean, that's fantastic dialogue. I mean, can you give the writer an award? Like, come on, like give this MF an Oscar for best screenplay. Like that's that's the best line ever. And then while she's saying that, they're like smoking a joint in the hallway. I love it. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's my cup of tea right there. Smoking pot in the hallway while talking about smoking pot on a waterbed, and then asking your teacher about the pectorals when you're some busty chick. I mean, does it get any better than that? Like that's peak funny dialogue right there, you know? It's excellent stuff. Another super funny thing, super memorable thing. People, if you know this movie, you know about this. People have talked about this in every review. The Kung Fu Professor. I mean, if I'm just me saying that, it just it's funny. Kung Fu Professor, like who has a Kung Fu Professor? Like I want to. I'm in school right now. Like I'm just chipping away. Like I'm like a little older, but I'm doing the whole school thing. But like man, I wish I had a Kung Fu class. That'd be awesome. Like I'd be flexing on fools. I'd be straight. You know. I'd be straight like suplexing individuals, even though it's not kung flu, but kung flu. I got the kung flu, man. I'm sick with it. No, I'm just playing. But the Kung Fu Professor was so funny. He was like a dollar store version of Bruce Lee. He was like the poor man's Bruce Lee, and he just comes in. He's like hitting all these karate moves, and then Kendall's like, "Oh yeah, that's my Kung Fu Professor." Like just says it like that's a normal thing. Like everyone just has a Kung Fu Professor. Like yeah, like that's just a normal sentence that everyone says. And something that I like about that is that that whole sequence reminds me of the sequence in Cabin Fever with Dennis, where he like, he yells like pancakes and he starts doing all the crazy kung fu moves and bites the guy. Shouts out to Cabin Fever. That's like an awesome horror movie. That's like one of my favorite horror movies. I gotta watch that this summer, but that's like my favorite Eli Roth movie. That's a good horror comedy. You got Deputy Winston. I mean, I'm talking about pieces here. I'm getting sidetracked, but I think it was like a Cinema Snob review. Shouts out to Cinema Snob. That's the homie. But I think he said in his review of Pieces that like Eli Roth is a fan of this movie. Eli Roth's a big fan of Sleepaway Camp too. Like the Eli Roth has good taste. I mean, he's got good taste in films. He makes good movies. I know some people don't like his movies, but I do. I'm a big fan. But yeah, I think he definitely took inspiration from this movie for the dentist scene. This scene's awesome. The dentist scene's awesome. It's good stuff. Hey, here's a note. If you're gonna make a horror film, you got to put a random kung fu scene in it that makes zero sense. Okay, that's a word of advice for all the aspiring filmmakers out there. All right. And then of course the bastards scene where she's like, bastards, bastards. I mean, iconic stuff. What more can you say? I mean, that's a classic scene. I mean, she like totally blows out the mic like I mean, homegirl was screaming. She was straight scream queen status. Like I think she blew out all the microphones, and like they had probably had to re-up on microphones after that because like the audio is like almost like distorted. She's screaming it so loud. But yeah, that's awesome. Another like funny thing that I gotta mention it is when they're eating the fast food and it's like fake Wendy's and it just says Wendy on it. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. Like, what's going on? Like, what's up with this fake Wendy's? But I love it. It's awesome. And then the last thing, in terms of funny moments, this isn't as funny as the other stuff, but I thought if I'm talking about all the funny stuff, I gotta mention it. The skateboard mirror death. I mean, that's like top tier cheese. Like she's like reacting before she's hitting it. Like homegirl has like 30 seconds to evade the mirror, like turn or jump off the skateboard, stop, drop, and roll. You know what I mean? But she's just like like just like, okay, I'm gonna crash this mirror and die now. Like, let me just do absolutely nothing. I mean, that's awesome stuff. What more can you say about that? I don't really have anything more to say, but it's hilarious. It's awesome. I'm here for it. All right, that's enough for the funny and WTF moments. Now I'm gonna jump into the kills. So yeah, like that's what I'm saying. This movie offers a little bit of everything. I think the story is unique. I like the mystery element. The kills are amazing. You got some funny moments, but yeah, now we're going on to the kills. The kills are absolutely great in this. I've said this in other videos, but the early '80s slashers are like in terms of kills and gore are so much better than the later '80s slashers just in terms of kills and stuff, because I feel like the MPAA didn't really catch on until like mid to late '80s, because like you know, slasher movies were like still relatively new in the early '80s, so they didn't really like know like this is a problem, blah blah blah. I'm not saying it's a problem, but you know what I mean, like it was like a new era in filmmaking, you know, where it was like ultra gory and all of that. So like they weren't really hip to like what was going on. And then you see that they kind of caught on, and the mid to later '80s movies are just like completely censored with it, which is like a total shame. It's terrible. But this slipped under the radar, and I think it's like I mean, it delivers with the kills and the gore. Like the first kill with the boy killing his mother, that was super graphic, and it's just like I feel like that's like a super taboo thing. Like anything involving kids in horror movies is like a big no-no. Like you don't want to have like you don't want to have you don't want to have violence inflicted on kids, and you don't want to have kids inflicting violence. Like it's disturbing. Like like a little kid killing someone, that's like it's messed up. Like that was in the beginning of the movie, and the kids like making this pornographic puzzle. Like this movie's sleazy, and I love it. I love like a good sleazy, trashy '80s slasher movie. Like this movie's ballsy. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's a kid killing his mom. Like that's crazy. I mean, it's messed up, but I mean, like I appreciate the fact that it's like they're like pushing boundaries. Like horror movies should be messed up. Like that's the point. Like it should be shocking. Like and this movie was shocking. Okay, the gore, like most of the kills are done with a chainsaw. You got decapitations. You got dismemberment of limbs. You got arms flying off. The kill that I really like is the girl when she's in the bathroom stall and she gets like her torso chainsawed in half. And I was reading the Wikipedia, and I guess they used like a pig torso for that. That looked really good. You see like a close-up, and then you see the aftermath, and it's just like blood everywhere, and like her like guts are pouring out. Like the kills were all great. You saw everything. Great practical effects, and then most of the kills had like a great aftermath shot too, where you get to see like you see like the action, and then they cut to like like after the fact, and there's just like blood splattered everywhere, and I'm just like, how did they get away with this? Like, I mean, nowadays this would be tame. Like you can get away with anything nowadays, but like I feel like I appreciate it more because this is like 80s, it's like I feel like they kind of pushed the boundaries of this, because the kills were super graphic, it was super gory, it was awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say for the kills. The kills were top notch, which, I mean, if you're coming to a slasher movie, you gotta have good kills. It's par for the course. So I was super satisfied with the kills in this movie. So the last thing I want to talk about here is the ending. So at this point, I'm gonna hit y'all's with a little disclaimer. So, alright, if you haven't seen Pieces and you don't want the ending to be spoiled, turn the video off, because I'm getting into the ending. I'm getting into spoilers. That being said, let's jump into the ending. Alright, the end. This is like one of the most memorable endings in an '80s slasher movie. Like who doesn't remember this ending, who's seen this movie? Like I always like tell people about this, like people who aren't into horror movies. It's like, yeah, like at the end of the movie, the the guy, he's collecting pieces of this woman, and he like makes this like Frankenstein type girl, and then like the whole movie is like straightforward and based in reality, but then this girl, this like Frankenstein zombie girl, comes back to life and grabs this dude's genitals and squeezes it and basically like just squeezes his genitals, blood splatters everywhere. Then credits roll. Like if you tell people this ending, they're not gonna believe it's a real movie. Like the first time I saw it, I didn't even believe it's real. I was just like, what the heck is going on? Like this is up there with, like, in terms of shocking endings, this is up there with Sleepaway Camp. I don't think it's as good as the Sleepaway Camp ending, because that's like one of my favorite slasher movies ever, and I really like that ending. But this is up there with it. This is neck and neck. Like if this was, you know, like the Olympics, like, I mean, okay, Sleepaway Camp would be gold medal. This would be a silver medal for most, like, WTF shocking endings. So, I mean, what more can I say? The ending was super memorable. You got so many funny, memorable scenes in this movie. The kills are on point. I think the story is pretty unique. I like the mystery. That's always fun. I love a good whodunit, especially if it's a slasher movie. So I think I'm gonna go as far to say I'm gonna say this is a classic. This is a classic in terms of slasher movies. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Would recommend. If you're a horror fan and you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. Yeah, with all that being said, I said everything that I want to say about this movie, so I'm going to wrap the review up here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.